Welcome to the Generation Elevation podcast, a conscious, connected platform for those who are ready to manifest their dream life. I'm your host, Elise Riley, a former PT, now motivational speaker, igniting empowerment and transformation all across the globe. Here at Generation Elevation, we are committed to bringing you the most inspiring guests who will share their stories, wisdom, and advice to help you progress closer to living a life of your own terms.
So maybe you have a health and fitness goal for this summer. For the end of the year, this Christmas, you want to lose X amount of weight or gain some muscle. You want to look good, feel good in your bikinis, your bathers, your boardies if you're in Australia, or you just want to genuinely feel good around Christmas time if you're in the UK or overseas, right? And maybe you've signed up to a program and no matter what you do, you're not following the calories, you keep self-sabotaging the macros, and you are either cutting your workouts short or not working out at all. Maybe you've got yourself into a nice little fling coming to this Christmas, and you find that this is a reoccurring pattern for you where you find someone really cool and then you just kind of get overwhelmed and push them away. Maybe you're an athlete and every time you are just about to make it, you injure yourself. Or maybe when you get out on the field or pitch or court, you find that you choke more often than not. Maybe you finally get that pay rise, but then for some reason never have money in your bank account. Why is it that we self-sabotage the things that we want to achieve? Why is it that even though we want to have the amazing body, the amazing relationship, the amazing financial position, the win in our sport, why is it that we sabotage that? If you're new here to this podcast, welcome. It is my pleasure to have you here today. I'm going to be talking about self-sabotage, why we do it, what is it, and how we can stop it so we can continue progressing towards those goals and desires that we do have. Now, if you do like this show, please subscribe via Spotify or Apple Podcasts, whatever you're listening from. And if you are really enjoying this and you find that it resonates with you or that it could help your community, please take a screenshot of what you're listening to right now. Do it right now. Stop it. Stop this podcast right now. Take a screenshot and then share it to your social media, your stories, because the more people that find this, the better. And like I said in previous episodes, what I want to do is grow this community so big that it will be one of the number one personal development platforms in the world, where I can then run events and bring all of us together so we can collaborate and elevate together. This is the generation of elevation, guys. So if you could share, that would be amazing. So what actually is self-sabotage, right? Basically, it is the sabotaging of one's self. Whoa, Elise, great. So essentially, yourself, you are wanting XYZ goal, desire, and there's an element of you not actually doing the things that you know you need to do in order to achieve that. Why is that the case? If you know you need to do, you need to go to the gym to get fit or track your calories, and you know you need to do these things, why is it that you're not doing it? Why is it that you know this person's really great for you and you probably work out really well in a relationship, but you keep pushing them away? Why is it that every time you get on the field, the court, the pitch, you just keep getting injured? Why is it that every time you find yourself in an abundance of cash, it just seems to disappear within a couple of days? I gotta tell you why. We have, for this podcast purpose, two parts of our brain. Now, this is a very psychological term. It's not neuroscience, okay? But it's very credited, and I definitely use it within my one-on-one client sessions. However, like I said, it's just more so psychological than neuroscience. But we have our subconscious and our conscious parts of our brain. For an example, what is conscious is essentially when we're in a brainwave state that allows us to think, to short-term remember, to plan, be creative, etc. Then we have our subconscious state of mind. And this is a different brainwave state where it's more relaxed. It's more of like a default mode network, which is where we default to when we're not really concentrating on anything. It's where our intuition lies. It's our autonomous bodily functions. It's our addictions, our habits, our behaviors, the things that we do that we don't really necessarily need to think about. That is our subconscious mind. And guys and gals and peoples, humans, aliens, beings, right? That is literally running the show 90% of the time. And if you're over 35, hello, what's up? That is running the show 95% of the time. So if your subconscious mind is running the show, basically, then you're going to see most of your actions and behaviors and patterns coming from this place. Your subconscious will filter and prioritize based on what you value, your beliefs, your awareness, your programs, etc. And we could be consciously aware of them, but there's also parts of us that we can be unconscious of as well. To give you a physical understanding of what it feels like to be in a subconscious state, it's literally that feeling when you are, if you're of age, driving and you're thinking about so many things like what you got to do at work, what you got to do for the day, practice matches, business meetings, your partner's ex's dog, I don't know, whatever it is you're thinking about, what Sally said at work. Poor Sally, gosh, I'm sorry if your name's Sally. I just absolutely just throw that name under the bus. I don't know why. It's just the easy rolls of the tongue, you know? But basically, you're thinking about so much, you're not actually thinking about driving. And you stop at all the red lights, go at all the green ones, you get to where you're going and then go, holy, how did I drive so normally just now? I was not thinking about it at all. My mind was elsewhere. I don't even remember the last 10, 20 minutes. Could be when you're scrolling on social media. How many of you listening to this right now have gone on a TikTok black hole and you've just been scrolling for what it felt like a couple of minutes, and then meanwhile you look at the time and you've been there for a couple of hours. That is a subconscious state. So if you are in this state 90 to 95% of the time for most people, you can see how it could be really easy to be unaware of the things that are slipping you up when it comes to self-sabotage. We are human beings that are always going towards pleasure and away from pain. Now, let me tell you a story. There's a kid that comes home from school and he was being a little shit. He's got his phone taken off him and he was talking back to the teacher or whatever. And he was kicking the ground. He's like, oh, that was such a shit day. Walking down the street. And there's this annoying dog barking. And you know those dogs, you're just like, oh, for some reason that's getting under my skin right now. It was one of those. So he's walking. He's like, all right, what's up with this dog? And he says it out loud. And the owner's like, what did you say, lad? What did you say? Turns out the owner was sitting right next to the dog. But he just didn't see him. I'm like, Elise, come on. Clean up your storytelling. So the owner goes, all right, are you okay, sir? You okay, young lad? And the kid's like, oh, yeah. Sorry, mister. What's up with your dog? Is he okay? What's wrong? Dog's barking. Oh, yeah, he's all right. He's just sitting on a nail. And the kid's like, what do you mean? And the owner goes, yeah, he's just sitting on a nail. And the kid's like, well, why doesn't he get off? The owner says, because it's not painful enough yet. Most people will stay where they are in their comfort zone, right? The lack of results, because that is what's comfortable. And in order to move, it would mean pain. So if you are self-sabotaging your goals right now, subconsciously, there may be some level of pain attached to actually achieving that thing. which is why you keep doing everything you can unconsciously to avoid winning the prize. So let's say if you're an athlete and you keep getting injured, you might think, well, like, why would I be getting injured on purpose? Unconsciously, you might be getting injured because you have an intense fear of success. That if you succeed, then what will people think of you? What will your community think of you? And so your body doesn't know what else to do apart from get injured. So then at least it won't be as being painful as being dropped, but at least you still won't be able to play, and therefore you won't have to worry about people's perception of you. It could be that you are in this really great relationship or what's starting to be one and you push them away, and maybe because in the past you were really heartbroken by relationships or in a relationship, and so there's a part of you that fears actually being in love again, and so your body is doing everything it possibly can and your behaviors are doing everything it possibly can to avoid getting into something serious, because last time you were in something serious it didn't go so well, and your brain has still remembered that and it's projecting that onto your future. It could be that last time you tried a diet, it didn't work, or people made funny comments about you. And so every time you took your meal prep to work, people would go, oh, why are you eating that for? And then your brain made that mean that you are now alone and isolated, and that therefore if you're alone and isolated, you're not good enough, and you shouldn't be a part of the tribe. And if you're not a part of the tribe, then our fight and flight and survival mode brain kicks in and goes, well, we need to be like everybody else so we can fit in, then we can stay alive. Because in caveman days, if you were kicked out of the tribe, you would die. So you can see why you might not be counting your calories properly or going to the gym properly and getting a good session in, because part of your brain thinks if you achieve that goal, you're going to die. What about money? Maybe you have a belief that people who are wealthy, people who are rich, they are greedy, they are unkind, they are awful people. And so for you to have money would mean that about you. And if that was to be meant about you, then what would people around you that you care about think? If your whole life your parents projected and hated on rich people and said, oh, like rich people are just greedy and they're all assholes or whatever, and then you've grown up with that programming, and so therefore you believe that if you get rich and if you get wealthy, then your parents will think that about you. Why would you want to be wealthy then? Usually, the habits and the addictions and behaviors that we adapt are survival mechanisms. They are there to protect us. To fix self-sabotage wouldn't necessarily mean to just get rid of it entirely, because it is there to mask an unprocessed emotion, and usually that emotion is fear. Usually there's a deep fear rooted in having the thing that you want, which is why you're doing everything you can to avoid it. And so you're probably wondering now, but yeah, how, Elise, now how can I stop fearing that thing? Well, I would say the first thing would be to get consciously aware of what the fear is. What is the emotion that you are scared to experience? Could you be scared of being seen, of having the attention on you? Could you be scared of being in love? Could you be scared of being rich? Could you be scared of winning and being a success? Maybe you don't believe in yourself to achieve that thing, and so therefore you're avoiding trying, because if you don't try, then you'll never really fail. Usually the self-sabotaging behaviors are masking something else. And like I said, it's usually fear. So get clear and gain conscious awareness of what those fears are within you that are blocking you from achieving your goals. Question, get curious. And if you're not sure, you can always message me and I can help you on a one-on-one basis. I also have programs and courses coming out over the next few months on my website that I know will benefit from. But my first thing would be get curious, get clear, and get conscious on those fears that are coming up for you. What is the emotion that you're trying to avoid and suppress and run away from through these habits and behaviors that aren't actually serving you and aren't actually what you want on a conscious level? Because your subconscious would say, yeah, but I want this because it's nicer, it feels better, right? When you self-sabotage and you stay at the weight that you don't want to be, or you stay at the dress size that you don't want to be, and you stay in relationships that you are attracting red flags for and you don't actually want to be with people like this, or if you stay in a low financial position or poor financial position, or if you stay in the second team or stay in second place instead of being with the pros or winning, there's something in that is giving you subconscious pleasure that you're not aware of. There's a part of you that actually really enjoys not getting results, because in that there's comfortability, there's safety, there's some sort of gain. That by not actually being the great success that you want to be, that maybe you then get approval from your friends and your family, that is a secondary gain of praise and better luck next time, and then that could feel like love. Whereas maybe one time that you won, that someone said to you, you could have done better, and then that's stuck in your brain. Maybe you find that you get more attention and more help from people when you're not following through, going to the gym and counting your calories, and that you can complain and blame about it with people at work and they can resonate with you. So that gives you a sense of belonging. And if you were to change your style of eating in the way that you worked out, that you would then be different from then. So the secondary gain is you feel like you belong with the group of people you work with. Could be that you have a belief around relationships being awful, and that being in love is a cliche. And so you get the satisfaction of being with all of these people that prove you right. What is that belief in you? What is the values in you that you aren't actually aware of consciously, but that are unconscious and that are blocking you? This would be my tips on how to deal with self-sabotage. As soon as you get clear on this, as soon as you bring the awareness to this, you start to realize actually that fear isn't actually that scary. And now that I'm aware of it, I can kind of be lighthearted about it. I can feel a bit more safer to move towards that which I want. I can get clear on why staying the same is painful. And the more clear I get on why staying the same is painful and change my focus there, I'm going to be more likely to move away from it. And if I get more clear on why it's important to me and why it's more pleasurable to move forward, why I must move forward, why I must achieve those goals, then I'm more likely to do it. A lot of people will set a goal and then focus on all the shit things that have to happen between now and then to go and achieve it. When really, what about all the amazingness that happens in between now and then? What about all the experiences and the soul evolution that you get to experience on the way to your goal and your destination? If you enjoyed this podcast today, please let me know. Message me, send me an email, and make sure you screenshot and share to your story if you resonated. Make sure to check out the other episodes. I'm sure you'll find many more that resonate with you and where you're at. I believe in synchronicity, and there's no coincidences. Whatever one you listen to, I know you will resonate with. So if you feel called to come here today, then I trust you got exactly what you needed. Lots of love, fam. I will see you in the next episode. Mwah.
Thank you for being a part of the Generation Elevation community. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to leave a 5-star rating, written review, share, and tag me on Instagram at elise.riley. Until next time, keep loving, keep learning, and keep rising.